But I'd probably say if you want a funny end of the world film, then it would be This Is the End would be the one that I would go to.
Yeah.
And if you are feeling like, stress from isolation, watch some of the crap that they need to go through in that film.
That is the perfect film.
Yeah.
100%.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Are you not entertained?
Here's Johnny. I'll be back.
It's not the car, it's a silly movie boy.
Well, good movies.
Hooray! We made it, guys. We made it.
Welcome to Well Good Movies, guys. And yes, we are still here. We are still alive. Good vibes only, as our nice poster here refers to in the room. And we're going to have a very good show for you and give you some fun recommendations. So obviously there has been films that have unfortunately been cancelled. One of them was James Bond. But luckily we have our own very film secret agent with us today.
Aww.
My co-host. His name is McDonald. Craig McDonald.
Hello,
And
Craig.
metaphorically, I'm shaken, not stirred.
Oh, that should be on a t-shirt.
So how are you, Craig, apart from the world going to damn?
Yeah.
Craig is one of the band members on the Titanic, but
Yeah.
I did actually watch a beautiful video today of two violinists actually dressed up in full suits and lifeboat jackets playing the song from Titanic in a toilet roll aisle.
oh wow, that is dedication. As long as they haven't made like a boat out of toilet rolls, then I don't think they could.
I think they'd genuinely be crucified if they did that.
they did that. Yeah, so today, guys, we are talking about some recommendations we have now that there's this pandemic, this virus that's going around. But, it's quite new for us as well, because it feels like we're on like a special report, because we're, talking about all these things that are evolving and changing like by the hour. So we're talking, we had episodes planned, which have now been disregarded because those films are no longer coming
Not disregarded, postponed.
Postponed. Like I said, the topic is
Don't freak me out, David.
Craig can't handle it already.
The topic is no longer relevant until a later date.
Yeah.
So, like I said, guys, we look forward to getting that content out to you later in the year. But at the moment, we wanted to make sure we are still current and relevant. So we're going to be talking about what we recommend for when maybe you're spending a bit more time indoors. We are going to be talking about like what's happened with the cinemas and some of the films that are no longer there. We will obviously try to approach it in as best and positive light as we can because we very much are that kind of show. And it will be quite different territory for us because we saw like approaching it from like a breaking news angle. So, who better to go through that with us today than somebody who was on radio for several years in Cardiff as the voice of film for Cardiff, and now doing his podcast with his co-host Joe. And you guys do like film news and film reviews, so obviously you're kind of in the same position as us. It's very much changed the way that you operate and the way you live your life, Dan. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, boys, for having me on.
Welcome, Dan Cullinane, everyone.
Oh, thank you so much. Can I get a cheer, please? Thank you. Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we'll keep these cheers going.
Yeah, keep it going. Yeah, that's right. Positivity.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, great to be here. Second time on the show. Last time was like back in July last year.
It's been far too long.
Simpler times. It was hot, sunny. It was good times.
Yeah, last time it was with, like I said, yourself and Joe, and I think the one thing I'd say is that ever since our show, you guys have always been at the top of the list to bring back, and it's just literally been a case of topic and when was the right time, and obviously collaborating with you guys on your show.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's been a long time coming, but yeah, we're glad to have one of you here.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
one is better than none, and it's great to be a guest and not feel so much pressure on the other side. I do give kudos to you guys. Joe is not here. He has not got it. He's got a chest infection.
Yeah.
He came back from Iceland about 2 weeks ago, but he's all good. He's recovering. He just wasn't feeling great tonight. But yeah, he sends his best regards. He says, have a great show. And also, he's just put in quickly, I know we haven't gotten to it, his recommendation for a film to binge. He says, any Muppet movie ever.
Oh, there you go. So he's still here in spirit. He can still give
absolutely
his
he is in the room somewhere, like the Invisible Man. He's somewhere. He's gonna kill us.
Yeah, hopefully he won't be terrorizing.
No, he will not. He'll be a kind Invisible Man, won't you, Joe?
So obviously you guys do like a podcast now, which is the Dan and Joe Film Show.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that. How have you guys found it? You still saw like in your early
Well, we're
days?
5 episodes in.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a bit of a good time. time. Yeah. So we started in the new year in January. So we were on a show called The Real Experience for like 3 years, which you two came on, didn't you, last year?
Yeah,
Crazy
great
how time
time.
flies.
Fun time.
One of the best films of the year, Lion King, you reviewed. I know that. So we did that show for 3 years with a good friend, and then through different circumstances, we were asked to leave. And so I think we've always wanted to do our own show together, just because we're best buddies, and we always go to the cinema together. And I think people who listen to the show are always more impressed by kind of our banter and our relationship with each other than anything else. So Joe and I one day were just like, oh, let's just do our own podcast. And we were like, oh yeah, okay. And obviously there's lots of logistics that come with that. Where you're going to record it, what's it going to be about, a good title. And we thought of many titles, and then I was just like, why don't we just call it the Dan Joe Film Show? It kind of rhymes. And we thought, sure, keep it simple. So we started that in January. We've done 5 episodes. It's every 2 weeks, a bit like your podcast. Going really, really well so far. We've got our next one coming up very, very soon. So we've had Q&As with Craig Roberts, who was great. We've also had interviews with people from the Razzies in America.
Yeah, cool.
So it's been going really, really well. I kind of love podcasts now. I don't really miss radio. I miss the music a little bit. But you guys know podcasts are getting really, really popular. It's going really, really well. Same with you guys, all about positivity. We do a bit of news, but we don't make it all about the news. And we're going to carry on just as normal. We've got our next show coming up. We're going to have to do it online. We're going to have to find a new way, because obviously a lot of the places we record aren't available. So and our next show is going to be kind of a horror special. And we've got interviews with people from Bad Blood Films, who just released a film called Sacrilege in cinemas. That was in all of Cineworlds. God rest their soul. And the director David Creed and Mark Kenner, who's been like a cinematographer for many, many years. He used to work for Dolby. So we had an interview with them, and they were fantastic. So so we'll post that up soon. But thanks to you guys that we got into this. We said when you came on our show,
and like I said, it's a good opportunity as well, especially with people are spending more time indoors maybe, and catching up on things. Then please do, like I said, support your local podcasts, because I think as well, when you go on to something like iTunes or Spotify, sometimes I get a bit tired of seeing the same faces on that front page, and so please support your local podcast. So go listen to the Dan and Joe Film Show, listen to Well Good Movies.
Absolutely. Do a double bail. Do wherever you like, on the sofa, in the kitchen, out and about.
It's something that I like that somebody on YouTube has done, because they've sort of obviously said that this outbreak is, they don't want to cause panic and stuff. So some content creators that make money from YouTube can be demonetized if they say the certain word. So instead, they've started using the word Bud Light. So I'm suggesting that maybe if we do refer to it in this episode,
I'm more of a Coors Light fan.
I think we should carry on that tradition and refer to it as Bud Light. So we're not causing a pandemic.
It's a much nicer word, isn't it? Bud Light.
Bud Light, exactly.
Nice and refreshing and tasty.
It just means we're going to make Bud Light of the situation.
Makes me want to go to a bar. Oh wait.
So if we do talk about him, we say Bud Light. That is what we are referring to.
Absolutely.
We'll start off by mentioning the Bud Light situation and what is happening. And originally, like I said, Dan, we were speaking to you and Joe about having an episode in which we talked about what we love and hate about the cinema and cinema experiences. And it's still definitely a conversation I want to have in the future. But perhaps in light to things, we don't want to be talking about bad experiences of the cinema or things we hate about it. So today I think it's still a good time to be talking about what we love about the cinema, why it's important to support them when they are open. Obviously at the moment a lot of UK cinemas and American ones have closed down, but once they're back open, hopefully it's more important than ever to support them. Dan, you've been to the cinema yourself in the past few days.
I just got in there in time.
And you always, somebody, you love to go to the cinema every week. How have you found it? What are your feelings?
It was a really strange atmosphere. So I went on Friday, because I do try and go on the Friday when the new releases came out. And I went to see The Hunt, and I went to see My Spy. Because in my head, normally I'd wait. I don't do the radio anymore on Saturday, so there's no rush for me to see them. But I just had a feeling, I just thought, hold on, these films aren't going to be here much longer than a week. And obviously, cinemas are closing tomorrow, so we were kind of right. So went on Friday, really strange atmosphere in the cinema, completely dead, no one was there. Went to talk to the staff about it, and I asked them, I said, how's it all going? And they were like, not good. And I was like, when are you thinking to close? He was like, we're on the edge at the minute.
Right.
So yeah, it's really not nice, because for me, the cinema has, from when I was very young, I've had memories going there. I love the cinema. It's not just a hobby, it's like part of my life now.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll agree. And just going to a place and everyone just looking really exhausted, really down. It's not nice, because these are people's jobs, and these are people that I've worked in the cinema for about a year and a half. I worked in the coffee section, but I saw how hard they work. And up until about 1-2 in the morning they work, cleaning and sorting out everything. So it's hard on them. And I went in. There was about 5 other people in the cinema, and for the first 20 minutes of the film, I really struggled to kind of settle into it. I think with everything on the news, I was very paranoid and worried. Some guy came in and sat in front of me and started to cough. And it could have been anything. It doesn't necessarily mean he had it. So I literally sat up and moved a couple of seats back, and he kind of turned back and looked very angrily at me. But I just thought I'd justify. I can't be having people coughing.
Well, it is that weird thing with the cinema, isn't it?
Yeah.
Me and Craig have discussed it before. It's like when you have an empty cinema and somebody comes and sits straight next
he was
to
that
you.
guy. He sat right in front of me, and they have you can move the seats back. He moved it right back, almost touching my legs, and then coughed. I said, listen, Tony, I don't want to take this any further, so I'm going to leave. And I left. I went further back. I think that's fine.
Why Tony?
He just looked like a Tony.
Did you literally want to grab his head and be like, get time to have your head between the toe and the knee? Slamming down.
Tony. That's what he was. Felt like an EastEnders episode,
Exactly,
isn't it?
yeah,
Come on,
that's it.
Tony.
And then give a gangster New York accent.
New York. It was very strange. I've never had an experience like it before, where everyone was a little bit on edge. Obviously, it wasn't busy for both films. I went to it. I'm glad I saw them, because obviously tomorrow everything's going to be closed. I feel sorry for the films that have just been released.
I know, yeah.
I feel like box office wise, it's just been really poor. Apparently, sales have gone down 50% over the weekend, which is no surprise, I know. So it was really, really strange experience on Friday. All a bit up in the air at the minute. I don't want to make this podcast all doom and gloom. It's coming across as a little bit bleak, but it's not, because I have faith, and I hope that whatever happens with cinema, it's not forever. I know it's not going to be forever. I hope it's just for a temporary time, for like a month or two, hopefully. I hope when Black Widow comes out, maybe in May, cinemas will start to reopen. And I just hope Cineworld and Odeon and View and all these chains manage to make sure that they kind of survive this period of uncertainty. Because like I said, cinemas are really important for me, and they're important for this industry. And that's why so many studios like James Bond, MGM, and Quiet Place 2, Paramount, and you've got Mulan as well. They, rather than just doing what I guess we'll talk about in a minute, rather than do what Universal Pictures have done and just put it straight to streaming, they've actually said, hold on, this is an experience that people deserve to go and see in the cinema. We're going to wait. We're going to have some patience, which I think is really commendable. And I remember when they did push back James Bond, we talked about it on our podcast, and loads of people were like, this is disgusting, this is despicable. I was the one in support of it, because you've got a movie that's worth $250 million. You are not going to take the risk in releasing it during like the height of this Bud Light. I commended it. I said, okay, we'll have to wait till November, but you know what, when you go into that cinema, when you sit down, when you've got your popcorn, it's going to be a great experience. And I don't see that at home. I mean, streaming has definitely got a place. I love streaming. I love, some nights you just want to come home, you want to sit on the sofa, you want to get your PJs on. I love those nights, but there are so many amazing cinematic films out there, like Bond, like Mulan, that deserve to be seen on the big screen. We'll wait and see. We don't know
exactly. And I think even, like I said, smaller films, I think like I can have a very different experience. Say if I was watching something like the award season just went past, I didn't have the same sort of experience watching Marriage Story at home, and then you go to watch like another awards contender like Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and even though they're sort of similar small scale films, it's just that magic of the cinema. You get absorbed in it. There's no distractions around you. There's you're in a position in which they have sort of made these seats for you, in which you can sort of like you're not getting too comfortable. You're not like on a sofa and you're going to fall asleep and that kind of thing. So like I said, I can't see it like I said damaging too much. I would probably. I think the most similar situation I could think of in my lifetime is the writers' strikes they had a few years ago, and that delayed a lot of productions and meant that a lot of films sucked. So this is the only thing I could see similar in that, even though that didn't close cinemas or it did maybe delay a few films, but that had quite an effect on the quality of the films and when they released.
It's not just that. I mean, I think there's a degree to which the postponement of all of these films especially is basically needed to happen in order to keep cinema alive, because the other thing that's obviously happening during this is that a lot of productions of various films has basically had to halt because of this, which means that's going to have, which means the actual completion of those films is also going to have to be pushed back. So in order to get cinema back on its feet as soon as possible, we're going to need films to come out pretty much the moment the cinema comes back, and in great quality. So I think the fact that we're now seeing a point where once the hopeful end of Bud Light happens, we basically see so many high quality projects that people are genuinely excited for just coming back in one big bulk. It'll basically reinvigorate people to get in at that point. That and also just fighting cabin fever.
That's why I think it is important to, I don't like these people, like I said, who go, put it on streaming, put it on this, and like you said, Dan, there's plenty of arguments to be made about
there's already a lot on streaming anyway, for God's sake.
I feel like there's too much.
There's a big investment that has been made into these films, and people need to take into account, they're like, oh, we'll just put it on Disney Plus. It's like, why would you do that? You've got half of America is pretty much subscribed to Disney Plus at the moment. It's not going to attract many more customers, maybe a few, but it's $6 a month. It's not $6 per person who's watching it. So that's a massive decrease in what they will get revenue-wise. And it also then adds, if they put it on Disney Plus, that suggests we are a streaming movie. How does Scarlett Johansson feeling about being on a streaming service? She was like, I didn't sign up for a streaming film. I signed up for a mega blockbuster that was going to shoot my career up even further.
Yeah, considering for how many years she's been fighting for this film.
Exactly, and that's the moment in which we do feel like a breaking news sort of podcast, is that, I don't know if you guys saw, but it literally was, before I got in the car to get here, it has been delayed. So it's not coming in May now. They haven't said when it is.
All right.
But there's some small websites which are then reporting on people are saying they'll go on Disney Plus. And maybe it could. Things might have changed when you guys at home are listening to this. But I think ultimately the message has been clear from films like Bond, Mulan, Quiet Place. All these films have been
Fast
delayed.
and Furious is like a year now, isn't it?
So, they're not going to take away the bricks and mortar of the film business because it's too big a part of it. They can't just go, well, that's it for physical films now. We're all going to go to streaming. It's, these cinemas are everywhere in the world, and there's massive investment and massive money that it gets.
But, there's no denying that the battle between streaming service and cinema has gone on for the last couple of years, and I think 100% Netflix, Amazon Prime not so much, but Netflix in particular have really tried their best to compete with cinema. I don't think it's been complimentary. I don't think Netflix have gone to cinema and gone, oh, let's work together. I think Netflix really want to destroy cinema, in my opinion. I know a lot of people disagree, and I love Netflix, don't get me wrong, but they have over recent years kind of stepped out of line, I think, and kind of gone, we want to be more than a streaming service. And it's like, hold on now. I think it's going to really test it now. I think it's up to the filmmakers and the directors and all these production companies who have been working so hard on these films. I mean, a Marvel movie must take a long, long time. Lots of editing, lots of star power. Scarlett Johansson, like you said, been campaigning for this film for a very, very long time. Nothing against streaming services. So many films that I've seen on streaming, and I go, wow, I'm glad that was on streaming. Glad I didn't go to cinema. But I'm really, really shocked if they do continue to put it onto streaming, because they really need to stand their ground on this and be like, hold on, obviously we haven't caused Bud Light, but we're going to hold off because the moviegoers deserve to see that spectacle in the cinemas. I can't imagine watching a Marvel movie at home. I don't know whether you guys went to Avengers Endgame opening night. Amazing experience, and I've never been a massive Marvel fan a couple of years ago, but oh gosh, that night, seeing the double bill, seeing the energy in that room, it was incredible. incredible, and we want that for everybody. So fingers crossed.
It's a good point to make, because, like I said, when we were talking about this original subject of what we love about cinema and that kind of stuff, it is those experiences which change things. Endgame is a fantastic example. I think a similar experience we had a few years ago is we watched when the final Harry Potter film was coming out. They had the Odeon did every film per night for a week and a half, and then the final one on the day it came out.
Yeah.
So it was we literally, this was when we were students, so we had the time to be going there every night.
Yeah.
And then the day it was out, I've never experienced, because obviously you've got Potter fans there as well. You haven't just got normal film fans. You've got people who read these books, and there's this girl next to me crying when Ron and Hermione are kissing, and people cheering and clapping when Bellatrix gets killed, and it's that kind of stuff which you really do love. And it's why we need to support cinema, and hopefully we'll see more of that. Like Craig said, that people will have this cabin fever and hopefully go back out when they're released.
I mean, just work on the phrasing of that. Saying, well, hopefully people have cabin fever that they want to fight doesn't sound great.
Well, Joe mentioned all the Muppet films, so we got cabin fever. So just to give it in that sense, like a nice Muppet fun sing-along song. What do you think, Craig, in terms of positive experiences about cinema, what you love about the experience and why we should keep supporting it?
I mean, just on a pure logistical sense, I think just seeing some of the films and the size and scope that they can get are just incredible. I mean, granted, 3D has never been something that's been overly impressive in any forum, really. But just some of I think some of the films I've been able to see just in that medium have just been spectacular. I think it only works because of the massive encompassing element of just that massive screen in front of you. It's something that just home viewing, especially considering many people, the size that they watch things tends to get smaller and smaller, because it's only really true fanatics who go out of their way to get the biggest screens possible. And a lot of people just watch things either on a laptop screen, or hell, even just a tablet, or just even
a mobile phone.
Or even their phone. So it just leads to idiotic things where they just argue about it didn't seem that technically impressive. It's well, no, because the technology you're using to watch it is not impressive in and of itself.
That is very good.
And there's also the element of you have choice then. The one problem I have with Netflix is just there's too much.
Yeah. I spent an hour trying to find out what I want to watch.
Yeah. Whereas the good thing about cinema, and me and Craig have had this, and I'm sure you will have as well, Dan, is that you go there either just especially if you are somebody who's I'll try and see all the films, and you can go in there being I don't want to see this, or I'm not looking forward to it, or I don't know anything about this film, so then you can come out oh my god, that was really good, I didn't expect it, or whereas you wouldn't maybe get that as much from Netflix, and it can make you a lot more emotionally involved, I think, as well.
It doesn't help the fact that Netflix and other streaming sites tend to have somewhat user reviews underneath as well, so you're flicking on something, it's it's got 1.5 stars, I'm just going to skip it, as opposed to the cinema where you actively have to research that stuff yourself.
I think the only other thing I'd say in terms of this whole Bud Light situation is I think DreamWorks has found a good in between of having that $20 or £20, whatever it be, rental. I think that makes sense. Some people that's too expensive. I'm again, imagine £5 per family member. A family of 6 is still getting quite a good deal for $20.
Yeah,
but for Trolls 2, we're not.
No. But this is great because I don't have to go watch it now.
Yeah, but again, I think they're in a different position to Disney. Like I said, Disney is potentially sacrificing £1 billion films to streaming services if they did that, which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Trolls didn't make $1 billion.
No.
So I think they're in more of a comfortable position to say, we will put this on a rental service, because it might make the same money as what it would have in cinemas anyway, because it's a smaller film.
Definitely.
Invisible Man, Emma, all of those make sense because they've been in the cinema, so they've already done the best business they
100%,
can.
yeah.
Some people have said Onward should go into Disney Plus. I think that makes sense because it's been in the cinema and it's already been affected by Bud Light. So that one would make sense to me.
You're right. I think there's a pattern here, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm still pretty confident that films like Black Widow, Mulan, Bond, they're massive blockbusters. it would seem so strange if they were just like chuck them on VOD. Trolls, it makes perfect sense. And yeah, it's a kids film. And you know what? If you have like 4 or 5 kids, you know, if you just like can't stop like a rabbit, if you've got lots of kids and you haggle around the sofa, you're right. It's going to work out even for like, it's $20, isn't it, in America? It's about 15, 16 pounds here. It's going to work out cheaper than going to the cinema, I guess. So yeah, I mean, perfectly. And then obviously they released an Emma, which has been in the cinema for a couple of weeks, Invisible Man and The Hunt. And you know, The Invisible Man's fantastic. So I'd definitely go check it out.
See that, the better. I think the only exception I would give is New Mutants, because I think that film has been cancelled so many times.
Oh, I know.
Just get it out there.
I feel so sorry for that film. Hasn't got. Is it just like, what have we done wrong?
Yeah. Something I did like actually as well, on a positive note, which Nick Grimshaw said on when I was driving here on the radio. He was like, all these people at home, dogs must be loving it at the moment. He said all these owners at home, and I was like, what a nice image to have in my mind. If you are depressed, guys at home, just think of all these happy dogs that are now like, my owner's home and they weren't before. I was like, what a comforting image that was.
That is true.
I won't point out the potential logistics of that, which will bring that image crashing down. I'll let you have
focus on the positive. Focus on the positive.
We have this cat called Gizmo, and he's named after gremlins, which makes total sense. It's not our cat; it's a stray cat that just like comes to all the houses, and all the houses feed it, and it's getting quite fat now. To be honest with you,
Do they feed it after midnight? Or?
Maybe, and it comes alive. The owner put on Facebook and was like, "This is Gizmo. Do not feed him."
Right.
We feed him.
Okay.
And he came in Saturday morning, and you're right. I think staying at home is going to have its perks because we get to see this little cat more often. And he's very, you know, he comes up and he stands on his 2 legs and he's like, give me food. But you're right, you know, with dogs as well. I didn't have a dog, but I bet dogs are just absolutely loving it. Like they get more food, more attention. You know, also girlfriends, boyfriends, wives, husbands. You know, you get more attention as well. It's a win-win situation.
So we'll go on now, guys, to what, you know, we would recommend in this time of, you know, isolation and being at home, what to watch. We've already had Joe psychically transmit his recommendations to us.
He just wanted to really quickly.
But I would definitely agree with that. Any Muppet film is going to put you in good stead. I think Muppets Treasure Island is one of the best films ever adapted from from a classic book like that. So I would definitely say that one. It's one of my films that if you're feeling a bit groggy or something, put on Muppet Treasure Island. You're going to feel good.
Feel good, isn't it? Feel good.
So what are some of the ones that spring to mind for you guys? It could be TV series, it can be films, a series of films. What are your thoughts?
You go first, Craig. Can I have a little think?
So I think realistically, the thing that a lot of people need right now is just a lot of like upbeat action and like comedy. Particular emphasis on the comedy, because I think a degree to just like lose themselves. Also, just something that like if they want to have like rewatch value, I think is quite important. In case they really can't find much for them to enjoy. So one of my recommendations is Hot Fuzz.
The Cornetto trilogy.
Oh, yes.
No, not all of the Cornetto trilogy, though.
Okay, right.
No, so I mean, I think I have 2 strands of logic to this. I mean, like, Hot Fuzz definitely, because I think it's incredibly funny. It's probably my favorite comedy film of all time, because there's a lot of background jokes you need to spend a lot of time getting used to just to notice them all, and that just in and of itself takes a few replay values. I think one of my favorite ones I discovered was the swear box joke.
Okay.
Do you guys know the swear box?
No.
Okay, I might have seen something about it.
Okay, I'm going to say it. If you need to bleep it, good. Basically, so you know where they're introducing Nicholas Angel into the police office, and they're showing him around, and they say like, here's our swear box. Every time you say one of these words, that's how much money you have to put into the box. And like it's just got all of the swear words with like some form of asterisk or like, you know, an @ sign for some of the letters, except for the word which is just left there completely visible.
I didn't think it was going to be that one. Oh my goodness.
It is that one.
Wow.
But yeah, I think I can tell what actually your logic is on the other 2 films.
What, Shaun of the Dead, a zombie apocalypse film?
So that would be your one, would it, Craig? That would be
Hot Fuzz, yeah.
Hot Fuzz.
Contagion and Outbreak are like one of the most watched films
Oh,
online,
you know
to be
what?
honest, at the moment. So
Have you guys ever seen Contagion? Because I've never
No,
seen it.
I've
But
not
I
seen
think
it.
it would give me a panic attack, to be honest
yeah,
with you.
I'm worried. Like,
So somebody posted it on Facebook and was like, "This is basically what's happening." I was like, "Hold on, Patricia, calm down, love."
Yeah, no, and I think I could make an argument for like World's End if you want to be like a bit of a completionist, but I think of the three, it's definitely
I haven't seen that, never seen it.
it's definitely the weakest. I think
Yeah.
there's a degree of charm it loses, and I think for what they basically try and attempt in terms of showing that like, okay, so we can have like Nick Frost and Simon Pegg basically play any role. I just don't think it works for this particular film
No.
because of how the characters are written.
yeah.
No.
Like, it doesn't make much sense to have Simon Pegg as an absolute anarchist and Nick Frost as the sort of clean cut. I'm just going to try and be like an office worker type, trying to get my life back together, back
Yeah.
on track. It just doesn't work.
And because all the characters as well, all the friends have moved on and become professional, that just means that it becomes quite like dry and like bland for a lot of the
Yeah.
film. I like the elements of like, I think Edgar Wright liked the idea of like when he said he went back to his hometown and it felt like everyone was staring at him. I think that element works well, and the idea of like going on a pub crawl and the world ends as you're doing it. But I would probably say if you want a funny end of the world film, then it would be This Is the End would be the one that I would go to.
Yeah.
And if you are feeling like, stress from isolation, watch some of the crap that they need to go through in that film.
That is the perfect film.
Yeah, so-
100%. Yeah. I've chosen the film very different. It's nothing to do with the end of the world. It's a film I saw last year that no one saw. It went straight to streaming. It's good. I think it's currently on Amazon at the minute, Amazon Prime, and it's called Teen Spirit with Elle Fanning. And it's basically, I love seeing competition shows. I'm a sucker for them. Not so much anymore, but back in the day. And it's basically about this young girl, and she plays a Polish girl who's who's lived in the UK for a couple of years now. And she enters the singing competition show, a bit like American Idol or X Factor. And it's kind of her process. And I know people listen to this thinking, oh my gosh, this sounds absolutely horrible. It really isn't. It's fantastic.
What's the name of it again, sorry?
Teen Spirit.
Right, okay.
And it's really, really good. Soundtrack's brilliant. Really some old bangers.
Please tell me Nirvana's on it.
It might be, I don't know. There's
smell
loads.
like it.
There's rock songs, there's pop songs, remixes. Really just electrifying. Elle Fanning is brilliant in it as well. She's got a beautiful voice, and it's one of those films I watched and was like, wow, this is right up my street. And again, it's a really kind of inspirational story of this girl who's like gets knocked down so many times, it keeps going. And it's a film as well. It's not about death. It's not about kind of violence or anything like that. It's really nice. It's nice. It's nice escapism. And so yeah, I loved it, and I've never really spoken about it. I kind of watched it, and everyone was like, "What is that movie?"
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely check that out. It's directed by Max Minghella, who did Chronicle. Didn't really watch that. Yeah. So yeah, really, really good. 90 minutes. And yeah, if you're into that, so if you love like your music, definitely go and check that one out. It's really good.
I was going to say music films tend to be quite good ones for cheering yourself up and stuff. We've talked in the past about musicals, like when on our musical episode I said about like Hairspray. I think that's a really good film to get you like cheered up and stuff. It's so silly and fun and camp.
My girlfriend will love you for saying that, by the way. She loves Hairspray.
It's a great film. I will defend it. And I think, what else was I thinking? You got films like Sing Street and stuff. So a lot of people like those small music films.
Yeah, that's on Netflix,
like,
I think, as well. Yeah,
a lot of people sort of cling to those there.
I'd also argue if we're going to be talking about like upbeat music based films. For me, this was an absolute shocker in terms of me enjoying it. The film Sing.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I watched a couple of years ago when it was out. Surprisingly engaging.
Yeah.
For a film which is basically just loads of like animated animals just entering talent contests.
Yeah.
It was surprisingly not crap.
I think I saw the other day is Nick Kroll, I think, was on one of those like films through his career, and he's obviously talking about like Big Mouth and stuff, and he was the voice of the pig in that, and that was based off like one of the characters he used to do and everything. And I was like, this does make... I've been meaning to watch it for years, but that made me want to watch it even more. And it's got Taron Egerton in it, so it's like a precursor to him.
And Seth MacFarlane singing
I
My
love
Way.
Seth MacFarlane. I love Family Guy.
And Rocket Man. I said, even though that does have some drama and some bad moments in it, it does still ultimately have some really big song and dance and fun moments in
definitely.
it as well.
And I think for me on Netflix at the minute, these were two films that blew me away. One's called Fractured with Sam Worthington in it. who you know from Avatar. Is there Avatar 2 coming? Who knows? Fractured is really, really like a psychological thriller. It's about a dad whose daughter falls off and really injures herself. They take her to the hospital. He turns away, he looks back, and they disappeared. And you don't know whether it's all kind of in his head, whether the hospital are conjuring something really horrific.
Right.
It's really, really good if you like thrillers. And also a film called I Am Mother with Rose Byrne in it.
Is that the robot film?
Yeah.
Yes. I've not seen it, but I know I watch a lot of the stuff from the visual effects studio that did it, and really good stuff.
Yeah, and that's got Hilary Swank, who I love. She's good in everything. And yeah, if you like your sci-fi as well, so you've got a thriller there, sci-fi, you've got comedy, and those are recent films if you want to check those out. Because Netflix, they're some of them aren't great. Okay, there's a lot of crap in there. But those two are really, really good. So yeah, that's my recommendation.
Yeah, it's a good example of, like I said, when you do have those films which are like, oh, this is just a streaming film, but when they put in the effort and they have that visual effects side of things, and I Am Mother, like I said, is a good example of how you can do something on a probably quite a low budget but still quite successfully. I think sci-fi can benefit from that. Probably like a film like, say, a lot of people talking about Snowpiercer when Parasite was winning the awards and stuff. You know, you sort of watch that and think, well, you know, it's got a lot of visual effects for maybe the outside of the train and stuff, but they probably didn't need it for much more than that. So, it's, you know, how you do visual effects effectively. And yeah, I've enjoyed some of the stuff I've watched from that.
Oh, lovely.
One I would recommend, any of the films basically from one of my favourite directors, Matthew Vaughn. So, you know, I've always loved Kick-Ass. I really enjoyed the last two Kingsman films. And I would say, you know, it is a good precursor to hopefully the film we'll get this year, which is The King's Man, which is the prequel film that they've been working on. And I was really gutted when this film got delayed by Disney, but probably a good thing now, because I would have just been disappointed when it got delayed anyway. But yeah, the new one looks really fun, really engaging. You've got you know, Ralph Fiennes in it and Rhys Evans. So it looks like a really fun sort of like period-esque James Bond sort of adventure. But the original Kingsman films are just so fun, especially the first one. You know, you've got Samuel L. Jackson there, like putting on like a dinner of McDonald's with Colin Firth. What more do you need? If I was to watch a scene over and over again, it would be that scene, because I just love their chemistry in that. It's
Forget snakes on the plane, McDonald's in my stomach.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. I love the first one, and actually, I know Stefano has been a guest on the show.
Well,
back in 2015 when it came out, we weren't roommates, but we lived in the same halls. And I went with him and my other roommate, and we went to watch Kingsman, and I was like, I don't want to see this. I don't really like it. It's ripping off James Bond. Watched it, absolutely loved it. It's one, like I said, one of those films you can watch it over and over again. It's so good.
And I would say, like I said, it's the second one is not without its faults. It's a bit crazy. It's a bit weird with the whole, like, you know, let's try and pretend that Colin Firth didn't die kind of thing. But at the same time, it still captures what I love about Matthew Vaughn, which is these crazy action sequences. He's got this very good style about him, which Edgar Wright also has, when he sort of has this like sort of crazy snapping back and forth and different cuts and slowing things down. So when Pedro Pascal is there with his electric whip, you're watching it like, this could not get any more insane. But you're like, oh, trust me, it will. And
also, like, just the best movie cameo of all time.
Exactly, yeah. So, well, do we say it or do we leave it with people?
No, we can say Elton John. But don't say why it's the greatest movie cameo.
All I'll say is, like I said, me and Craig literally just broke down once the moment happened in this film. I was like, that was got to be one of the most bizarre and funniest things I'd seen in the cinema for a while when it happened.
We desperately looked for, like, just the scene on YouTube just to rewatch it.
I don't know what scene you're on about.
We'll tell you.
We'll tell you after the episode.
Tell me afterwards.
Go watch the film.
I'm in the minority, guys. I don't think number 2 is nearly as good as number 1 at all.
I think number 1 is obviously a lot better.
Although my girlfriend much preferred number 2, so it is very. I still think it's enjoyable. I just think I was watching it going, wow, this is nothing like the first one. But it was interesting. I thought, who was the villain in number 2? Now I forgot her name.
She was
ginger hair. I don't got a name now. No.
She was called Poppy. Was the character?
Yeah, Poppy.
She's nominated.
Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore. She was excellent.
She was fun,
really good.
Yeah, like I said, it is a lot of people also cling to that Mark Strong scene as well in that one.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that as well, I also appreciated the way that they evolved the story. They kept it so that like Taron Egerton's character was still like with the Russian princess and all that kind of stuff, or Swedish, or wherever she was.
Wherever she
To
was.
clarify, we here at Well Good Movies do understand that Russia and Sweden are different countries.
On most days.
No, every day.
I'm not even sure if Russia would be able to watch that film. I think they've got like different streaming like allocations than us, so they're going to struggle when this whole thing goes down.
Absolutely.
And they won't be getting their Disney Plus. But yeah, those two, like I said, very fun. Love both of them. Like I said, number one, a lot stronger, and hopefully will set you up for the prequel.
Yeah.
Apart from that as well, similar to Joe, fun films like The Muppets I love. Also, the Monty Python films, I think if you've never watched those, great opportunity to go watch some silly, bizarre comedy. I love all of them. Holy Grail is one of my favourite films of all time. It's so kooky and silly, and I love it.
And I think actually, because one of the questions we had before the recording of this podcast was, what was the last film you saw in the cinema?
Yeah.
I think for me, it actually was the screening of Life of Brian that we went to.
And I remembered, actually, I said it was the second time I saw Parasite, but it wasn't. It was Onward. When I saw the advanced screening of Onward. But yeah.
Without me.
Well, it was just as well because I saw it at the advanced screen, which was a week before all this.
Oh, we know. Get it in early.
For you.
But it has been out, Craig. It's been out for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. You
Is that
can
on the
say
sixth?
he
I've had work and stuff.
Oh, all right. Cool. Can I just also mention as well, I've completely forgot two of my favourite films of all time, I would dare say.
Right.
Two really classic films, one from the 1940s, one from the 1950s. And Joe knows me, I don't watch many old films.
Right, yeah.
I'm much more of a 2000s plus kind of guy. But first off, It's a Wonderful Life. I know it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
But,
Out.
You don't like it?
No, I
sorry.
love It's a Wonderful Life, but
But it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I have a strict ban on
Me
anything
too,
Christmas.
but is it Christmas movie? It's
To be
about
fair, if we're going to
forgiveness.
follow people's strategy for surviving the Bud Light incident of
Yeah.
just treating this entire self-isolation and quarantine as just Christmas period.
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
gonna
that.
work
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, our former guest. Did you see Laura? Laura's post. Yeah. So Laura, who's been on our podcast before, says I got a great idea, and let's all put up our Christmas decorations and let's pretend the next 3 months is Christmas.
Laura, smart girl,
Yeah.
smart girl. Yeah, that and White Christmas for me, which obviously is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Just saw it recently with my nan over a cup of tea. Oh, beautiful films, wonderful
Yeah.
filmmaking. They don't make them like that anymore. And like I said, follow Laura's advice. Maybe she should be Prime Minister. Maybe she should be like, right, everybody just pretend it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Get your trees out. Happy Hanukkah.
I'm just going to see loads of people like panic buying turkeys at this point.
Yeah, where are the turkeys? And there'll be loads of toilet roll there.
Yeah, we've already had this conversation at Christmas, and now we're going through it again. Retail workers will be loving. I think those are some great suggestions, and I think It's Wonderful Life is actually already in the movie vault. So
Oh, brilliant. There we are.
Rest assured that
Oh,
one,
thank
that one
goodness
is,
I can sleep easy
that
now.
one is safe.
Good.
So my brief question for you guys, because obviously we talked about what films we would personally recommend to people who are looking for new things to try. Are you thinking about trying to watch some of the films that you haven't seen during this period?
Yeah, definitely. There's quite a lot of stuff that's on my list that I've never watched, and I know Dan is actually in the same camp with this one, so maybe we should do a joint watch party or
Definitely.
something. The Back to the Future films. I've never watched them fully through.
Thank you,
Yeah, same.
David. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you both. Oh, if I could hug you, I would. There we are, Joe. If you're listening to this, I'm not alone here.
Joe is going to feel so isolated. I think that when we did the radio show before, and I was like, I didn't like Richard Jewell, and you were like, oh, thank you, Joe. You know,
yeah. No, he bought me the trilogy on Blu-ray,
Oh,
so
really?
I'm going to come around. We'll have to sit through each one of them.
Yeah, there you go,
Have
then.
to sit through them. I'm joking. Yeah, Black to the Future's 1, 2, 3. The trilogy I've never ever seen.
Yeah. I think
it's
that's
always on
to be
TV. Yeah, it's always on TV, but I never seem to sit down. But we'll all have to kind of sit down.
It's got an anniversary coming up soon, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think
Perfect.
the third one was out, about 30 years in May. The musical is unfortunately have to close down now as well, so what a great time to support the franchise as well. I think for me, there's loads of stuff. There's so many things on my watch list. Like I said, a few things from last year. I had a few things in my watch pile, which was like films I didn't get around to last year. One of them is Men in Black International, which I'm struggling to get to because I know it's not great, but I just wanted to watch it to sort of add to the lower part of my 2019 list. I felt, you know, when you've got like all good films and there's like 2 or 3 at the bottom, you're like, I need to watch more bad stuff to like make the good things go.
Yeah, maybe. It's okay. I think Joe didn't like it at all. Again, I saw it in the cinema. I thought it was fine. But yeah, I rewatched the first Men in Black film. Boy, is it a good film.
Yeah.
And it was really scary for what it was. It's a PG, but that end scene where all those all the bugs come out of his mouth, I was just like, how is this a PG?
I know.
Comparing that to the first one is not great.
Well, when you watch back, I said I was watching the third one on TV the other day as well.
Yeah.
But that first one, some of it doesn't age well, like the opening scene, particularly with like the immigrants or messages. But yeah, I was always terrified as well when there's like that cat and the guy who like lives in the robot body. And I was young. I was like, don't do anything to the
he's
cat.
so creepy.
Yeah, so
made me pee the bed.
well, like I said, if you show your children Men in Black, put some absorbent.
Yeah. What about you, Craig? Are there any films that you've desperately wanted to see and you haven't had a chance yet?
So there's probably loads of examples from like years and years ago, the things I should probably sit down and just properly watch. But there's one film that I think it's because I'm part of a friendship group that 2 of them really like to talk about wrestling a lot. And last year we had plans to watch a particular film together and they just never happened. So I feel like for them, I would probably want to try and watch this in like solidarity for them, which is Fighting with Your Family.
Oh, wow.
I watched this not long ago, so yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
And as well, made me more hyped for Black Widow because you get to see how talented Florence Pugh is at just taking on completely different roles.
Joe loves her. I love her as well. 2019 was her year. Fighting My Family, she's fantastic in. Yeah. Then you had Midsummer, which is out on Amazon Prime now for free if you want to catch that. That was incredible. I know Joe loved that film. Florence
Little
Pugh.
Women, again, such a different performance to what she plays.
Yeah, definitely check it out, Craig. It's brilliant. It's really, really good.
I think TV series as well. I've been meaning to get through The Witcher for a long time, so I think TV programs are obviously quite a big thing for some people. I've also been meaning, we watched like some episodes of it, but we never got through, was Westworld years ago. So I tried to get through it, got about 6 episodes in, and then just, it wasn't so much lost interest, just lost time. And then it was kind of one of those things where 3 months had gone past, everyone had talked about how amazing it was, and it was like, I'm kind of behind now, and I just never managed to catch up. So I think this would be a great chance. And I know season 3 has just come out, and it looks like it's perfectly set up for me. You know, different worlds, robots, futures. You know,
basically
politics.
What's going to happen to us soon.
But it's all the type of stuff I love. I really love dystopian future kind of stuff. So it seems like I really will love it, and I really enjoyed what I saw of it. So this is an ideal opportunity to watch that as well. Anything else, Dan? You think that?
Well. Everyone knows I love Nicolas Cage. I'm a big Nick Cage fan, and I've been wanting for a very. He basically releases 10 films every year.
Yeah.
He went bankrupt a couple of years ago, so I think every offer he gets given, he just signs the contract and films it. I'm not kidding. I think he does.
Yeah.
So there's been a string of straight-to-video Nicolas Cage films where he belongs. By the way, it wouldn't feel right if he was in the cinema. And they've just been piling up, and they're really new ones. 2 have just come out this year, 2020. There's a couple from last year. One's on Netflix, 2 on Amazon. So I'm going to do a Nicolas Cage-a-thon. You're more than welcome to join me. You'll probably refuse. But my love for Nicolas Cage grows on. I know Joe will come and watch them with me. But yeah, we're going to do a whole day of Nicolas Cage movies. Yeah. And we'll probably be very, very drunk with some Bud Lights by the end. Yeah. So that is my plan. I love Nicolas Cage. He makes the courageous movies. He makes awful films as well. But at the end of it, you go, well, it had Nicolas Cage in it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So,
he is one of those actors, and people do, you know, it's the kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger sort of thing of like, you know, they'll only it like I said, it's Nicolas Cage movies. They become their genre in their own. So yeah,
there is a College Humor sketch I think you would love. It's basically they basically have a guy play Nicolas Cage's agent. And he's just there giving him the offers, basically trying to dissuade him from taking it, and he's just there like, love it, let's do it. And they're just like some really bizarre ones. Just like, I think it was just like, I think it ends on, it's just like, is "You tasteless asshole, you absolute tasteless asshole," and then it's just a poster for "The Tasteless Asshole" starring Nicolas Cage.
Oh wow.
I think as well, what makes me respect him is that it's, to me, you think, okay, when you get, say, John Travolta, for example, he's been known for being in some real stinkers the past few years, and you're like, why would you do that? Why did you do that performance? But for me, like, Nicolas Cage, like, he's in, like, one of my favourite films, Kick-Ass, and I love his performance in that, because when you see him behind the scenes, he says, you know, oh, I wanted to go out there with this guy who's dressing up like, almost like Batman, and I thought, well, let's go back to that psychology of being like Adam West. So he does an Adam West voice when he is Big Daddy, and I love that thinking, that he's thinking outside the box. And he does the same thing in Spider-Verse. I was watching the behind the scenes of Spider-Verse, and apparently they just let him rip for like a few minutes on just like, you know, because he plays
Noir, Spider-Man Noir.
And so obviously the joke there is that he's this, you know, old-time black and white sort of guy who's been fighting Nazis and all this kind of stuff. And so they just let him like on a tangent of like, I went down to the bar and I saw this, and like they just let him, have free reign. But again, it's that creative mind that he's got, that he's like, he knew the type of character he wanted to play, how he was going to do it, and he's great.
That is a film I do really want to check out at some point, though. It is Nicolas Cage.
Oh, great.
It is also the film that got him his Oscar nomination, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. We haven't started the endgame yet, but you would get a tick for that. Well done, Craig.
As in getting the film right, or getting the fact that it's something to watch?
Both. I've never seen it. I'm too much into the Nicolas Cage trash now. I'm too deep in the bin. It's going to be hard for me to get out now and actually admire his finer work.
I think my interest was piqued because it was involved in a joke on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, a TV show that I'm basically completely up to date with, and just have binged it a couple of times over and over. There's one episode where Andy Sandberg's character has to take somebody into like a safe house, and the only thing they have to watch is his Nicolas Cage collection.
Oh wow!
And because the person he's there with is an academic, he's incredibly uptight about what he will watch, and he's suggesting all of these Nicolas Cage film plots to him, and he's saying like no to all of them. And then when they leave, he goes, "Oh, there was one film I forgot, which was Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas." And he explained what it was, and he was just like, "What the hell did you just say?" And it's like, "Oh wait, I've also got Captain Corelli's Mandarin." It's like, there was a film about a mandolin in that collection. You didn't tell me for 3 months.
Oh,
those are some very good shouts. Like I said, very fun films. And it's things like that. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, when they're films that like you hear about and people say about, and you're like, I've never watched that. Watch it. It's all those kind of ones. So, like I said, loads of films we could recommend, guys. Please, like I said, support the film industry. You can. Loads of ones we said on Netflix, and that's going to be the ones people go to. Disney Plus is releasing in the UK this month, so ideal opportunity to catch up on some Disney stuff, including, I would say, if you're going to use Disney Plus, obviously there's things like The Mandalorian and all those kind of things. But, maybe check out some of Disney's older live action stuff. I miss the days of when they used to have like the Touchstone pictures, and I think Queen of Catway was there, like the last Lupita Nyong'o film that they did as like live action. They did that Togo film about like a snow dog and everything like that. Go check out some of those. Different time in cinema.
And Song of the
and like I said, if it means renting films, then like I said, that's helping the film industry. If you've got the money to do it, like rent some films. And don't let that limit your viewing. Don't be just like, oh well, that's not on Netflix or Amazon, so I can't watch it. There's like Rakuten. It's like £2.50 to rent a film. If you really want to watch it, pay the $2.50. So. Like I said, we've discussed a lot of different things. It might be hard to narrow something down. Is there anything from our discussion that we think has highlighted for the movie vault, which would be our vault to encapsulate things all time?
So how does this work? Do we just put one film in from all of us, or can we each choose a film?
Usually we're in the position in which we have talked about Spielberg films today, or we have talked about musicals. What films depict these best, or what is best to represent that? Today we're in the position in which we haven't had a topic or a genre or anything. But I suppose maybe if we can all have our suggestions if we have something that we think if you were going to be locked away and you needed to watch, or films that we definitely wouldn't want to see go if if anything does happen to the world, or whatever. So for me, I'd probably say the one that just needs to go in there just for the sake of time, and I wouldn't want to see this be erased, is Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
That's a good one.
I think, again, classic comedy. Absolutely loved that film, and I would never want to see that disappear. I love Kingsman, but if it had to go, okay,
it had to go. Yeah.
But Monty Python's Holy Grail would be my pick of everything I've mentioned or discussed. Craig?
I think for me it's still Hot Fuzz. I think the rewatch value of that film alone, I think, seals it for me, as well as the fact that it's just incredibly good performances and just like really likable characters. I think for me that's just the pick I'd want to secure. And also just having Edgar Wright's incredibly beautiful way of making fast-paced films in terms of the editing and the writing.
Yeah.
And British talent as well. You got people in there like Oscar winner.
Yeah, I don't really care about the British element that much.
Well, you got Oscar winners in there anyway, and you've got people like Jim Broadbent and stuff. So
Absolutely, yeah.
Dan, the pressure's on you now. Do you pick another
on me.
comedy, or do you go with something completely different?
I know. I don't know whether do I have to use a film I've already talked about, or
You could go. We have in the past just gone. We didn't discuss this.
Yeah.
So you can bring something that has.
I think I'm going to choose a film. I don't know whether it's already in there. It's one of my favorite films of all time. Sorry I didn't mention it, but it had its anniversary last year, and I went to see it in the cinema as a re-release. My only ever film, a bit like we talked about Monty Python.
Yeah.
This is the only film I've ever seen re-released in the cinema, and it's amazing if you get a chance to watch it. And it is Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. Is that in the vault?
No, it's
not. Oh, wow.
It's a similar thing. I can't remember much about this film, so it's probably one I need to put on my rewatch list.
Honestly, do it. It's dark at times. It's dramatic. It's really funny too. It's very heartwarming. Obviously, a lot of films have ripped it off with the whole loop in one day.
And they even had a musical recently as well. So back.
Yeah,
to
so
Future.
I've been listening to the soundtrack of the musical a lot because it's a Tim Minchin soundtrack.
Yeah.
So, but I really want to watch Groundhog Day. So.
I just think, rather I could choose something that's recent, like from last year on Netflix. But I mean, we got to put some classics in the vault.
Well, it fits, doesn't it? We've got Monty Python, which is a classic. That's a classic. Hot Fuzz is again it's been out quite a long time now.
Hot Fuzz is great.
It's a great.
Dare I say, and I love Shaun of the Dead. It's better than Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
I love Shaun of the Dead. I grew up with that movie, and I have to watch The World's End.
Yeah,
never seen it, but there we are.
So do we keep it with that positive attitude of all just comedies? We could go down the road.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Chuck them into the vault. It's like Room 101, isn't it?
It's like Holy Grail. Which?
Should we all do a sound effect of the vault? Ready? Ready? Vault's going to close in 3, 2, 1.
So going into the movie vault this week, guys, is Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Groundhog Day, and Hot Fuzz. Into the movie vault you go. We're now on a lower budget because of Bud Light.
Yeah.
So in today's Endgame, I think one of the facets we talked about in terms of the temporary loss of cinema that I also really enjoy is just sitting there and enjoying various trailers for films coming up. And I know you guys too, you are regular cinema goers like myself. I know that you're going to miss that experience, having all of these direct streaming platforms are just, here's the film immediately. So I'm going to give you that experience one more time in our Endgame, which is called Final Trailer.
Ooh, ominous.
Sorry, that was the original name. The actual name is Trailers and Tribulations.
Even better.
So what I'm going to do is I've got a collection of trailers of films which are either released or are meant to be released soon, which means at some point in the future. And I want to see how much you've seen these trailers already. So basically, I'm only going to be playing you the audio. So I want the two of you to try and work out if you know which film this trailer is for.
Is there fastest?
It is fastest first.
Okay.
So this is the first trailer.
You are unbelievable. Looks like love is
criminal! Move!
Oh, I think I've got it wrong now. I don't know the name of it, but it's the Ryan Reynolds film coming up.
Are you talking about Free Guy?
Yeah.
I don't think it's Free Guy, but no, it might be. Yeah, no, I think it is.
Is the answer Free Guy?
Oh, there we go.
okay,
Why couldn't you just
that's
say no? Sorry, go on, David. Do you think you know?
I don't. I think I need to hear more of it then.
I don't have a clue.
I don't think he's a cop.
We know he's dead, but we didn't kill him.
He'd like to report a murder or whatever.
We didn't murder anybody.
1, 2, 3, go!
No.
I don't have a clue.
Mr. Braun?
Run, Leilani!
David.
Is this that film that was coming out with?
Assume I don't know the cast, so
Yeah.
you kind of need to give me something.
Something Midnight or something like that.
So I'll accept Something Midnight as.
Right,
So
okay, don't have a
neither of
clue.
you have got that.
No.
So that film was The Lovebirds.
Never heard of that.
I think that's what I was thinking of, though. I'll
You
accept
said
that.
Something Midnight.
No,
the
I-
Lovebird. What's that about? I don't even hear that.
Read the description. If it's got
So this is what the YouTube description says. Every happy couple has one moment that defines their relationship. What's the
Yeah,
a
this is-
couple, Issa Rae and
Kamal
Nanjiani
Yes, this
experience a defining moment in the relationship when they are unintentionally embroiled in a murder mystery. As the journey to clear their names takes them from one extreme and hilarious circumstance to the next, they must figure out how they and their relationship can survive the night.
Yeah, it was delayed when Peter Rabbit and everything was
Oh,
delayed.
okay.
So I
I've
remember,
not
I
seen
only
that.
heard about it from when it was delayed. But yeah, I couldn't remember the name of it. That's why I said Midnight. I thought it was like Midnight Birds or Love at Midnight or
Okay,
something
nil
like that.
point.
Yeah. We're
So
doing
at that
great.
point, yeah, so neither of you get a point.
Okay.
Are we ready for the next trailer?
Yeah.
I love my life. I love you so much, Gary.
Oh no!
David.
That is SpongeBob Sponge on the Run.
I love how you know the title.
Yes.
What?
Kind of needed for this game.
Because
Yeah.
it did change title, because originally it was like Sponge out of water.
So if he says SpongeBob SquarePants, you wouldn't
I thought
accept
Sponge
that.
Out of Water was the second one.
Oh, it had a previous name, whatever it was anyway. There was originally...
I would have only accepted the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of
Right,
Sponge
well,
on the
I'm
Run.
not going to score
Yeah.
a single point
Yeah.
on this.
It was
There we
called
are.
something else originally. It was something like The Great Unknown Sponge or something like that.
Okay. Oh, well done, David.
Okay, so that's 1 point to David. Are we ready for the next trailer?
Yes.
Will bring hell down from on high.
Oh, no, I panicked.
Oh.
I heard Tom Hanks in that. No,
Yeah.
maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Sorry.
Right, so
I
what
know-
Tom Hanks films are
Carry
coming
on,
out?
carry on. Like, we're all...
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
we'll
Sorry, can I
see
carry
that
on?
as a trigger
Yeah,
happy.
sorry.
Dear Lord, let your holy angel be with me.
I'm trying to think of the name of this. I know what film it is. And I watched this trailer.
Is it Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
Into your hands I commend myself, my body, and soul. Amen.
I was going to see if the name is mentioned. And I'm like, that's it.
Congratulations on your command.
Don't have a clue.
I'll always be looking for you, Evie. Even if I'm 1,000 miles away.
Air escort to Greyhound. You will now be out of range of air cover for the next...
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Go on.
Greyhound.
You are kidding me. Oh, what?
Yes, I was like, I knew it
You're
was
just
some-
waiting for the word.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was like, I knew it was mentioned because it's like the name of the ship or whatever.
I'm really... Can
Sorry,
you
Dad.
choose films that are actually being played in cinemas right now? Like, all these I've never
The
even been
trailer
played yet.
came out the other day. To be
Did
fair,
it?
it's not been in
Okay.
cinemas. Well, actually, you've been to cinema nearer than I have. So
I
they might have
know.
played it.
Yeah, none of these films I've seen in cinemas, so I'm sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, it does look like a good film. I hope
Yeah.
you get to watch it.
Is it kind of a horror?
No, it's like a sort of Captain Phillips.
It's
kind
a
of-
war
it's-
epic,
Yeah,
basically.
it's like
I
a
thought so.
submarine film.
Yeah.
It's written by Tom Hanks, actually.
Okay. So after that, So David is on 2.
Yeah.
Daniel,
Nil bois.
keep
That's
going.
okay. That's okay.
Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
David.
Trolls.
Oh,
Trolls
you are
World
kidding me.
Tour.
Oh, you are kidding me. Yeah. Well done.
Yep, that was indeed Trolls World Tour.
Oh, I should have done it. And that has been played in cinema,
Yeah.
so I should know that.
I gave you what you asked for.
Yeah, thank
I heard
you.
the guitar and I was
Thank
like,
you.
this is either something stupid like
Yeah.
Triple X or something. Or, you know, but
Down. Okay, cool. How many more have we got left? 2, is it?
2.
Oh, great.
okay.
Well, I'm not going to win, but I can try and get one.
Next one. Ready?
Yeah. Oh, that was me. That was me.
That was Daniel.
No Time to Die, 007. Thank goodness I get one. I get one.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you. David purposely didn't click. He was just like, I'll let you have this one. There we are. Oh, thank you, Craig. That's very kind of you. Give me that one.
Okay, and then this is the final trailer.
Okay.
Democrats are getting their asses kicked. We need some way to road test a more rural-friendly message.
If you can't live your principles in the bad times, I guess they aren't principles, they're just hobbies.
Nice.
John Wayne and a tractor have a baby, and all you can say is nice. Really nice.
Oh my God, it's so nice.
Colonel Jack Hastings is our key back into the great now swing state.
Is this like a sequel to
Wisconsin.
Vice or something?
Just doesn't know it yet. Can I be completely honest with you? No bull.
Be nice.
Something with
My
Steve
daughter's
Carell.
here.
That was your daughter with her arm up the cow?
I've not heard of this film at all. I don't know what's going on. I've not heard of it.
I'm surprised David doesn't know it because we've seen this trailer together.
In the cinemas?
It does seem familiar, but
I would like to offer my services. Can we
I don't know the name of it.
please?
Would you like to just randomly get? I'll give you a hint.
Go on, give us a hint.
It's a one-word title that basically describes if something is something that you need to have no matter what.
Republican Party. Why are you here?
Oh, like priority and necessity? I don't know. No. Go on, David.
Critical or something? I don't know.
I think you've misinterpreted the hint I was giving you. It was irresistible.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's a weird... Is it a political film?
Yeah, so the idea is basically the Republicans and Democrats fighting over a particular swing state.
Oh,
and they bring
sounds
in
like The Hunt. Just kidding.
And they bring in basically sort of a local hero in the area.
That's interesting. Oh, well, thank you.
The trailer
Did they advertise that for like Bombshell or something like that? Was it?
No, it was much sooner than that. I'm pretty sure they showed it before Life of Brian.
Oh, I've never seen that. But there we are.
Yeah.
Thank you
But
very
yeah,
much.
so
Craig.
at the end of that, so scores were Daniel ended on 1, David on 3.
Well
So
done. Bravo.
So that basically means at the end, David is. And
Wow,
it's
the
your
budget
special
in this show, I'll tell you what.
Your special prize today, David, is exclusive hand sanitizer and toilet roll.
Wow, that is basically
I'd like
like
to
a good prize now, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And also 2 for 2 on the current endgame score. So if the way things are, then if we do have me and Craig involved in more endgames, I'm on 2 wins.
I tell you what, if Joe was here, I'd totally beat him. No, I would not. You've got to get me an easier guest to battle. But,
yeah, well, thank you for joining us, Dan.
My
Like I said,
pleasure, guys.
Hopefully we'll
Thank
have
you.
a lot more, like I said, fun stuff within the next few weeks, whether it be with your podcast or watch-alongs or getting involved in things we haven't seen, such as Back to the Future. Anything you want to plug? Like I said, where
thank
do we
you.
find
Thank
your
you so
show?
much. So the Dan Joe Film Show, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter at DJ Film Show, on Instagram at DJ Film Show. Instagram is pretty strong. We always kind of post daily on there.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to some of our past shows, we're on Mixcloud.
Yep.
We're also on Spotify, and we've just started a YouTube channel.
Oh, awesome.
So we don't post our whole shows. We post like a review, or we post like a Q&A or an interview that we've done.
And our snippet.
A snippet, yeah. And so our latest show, we're going to be recording Thursday, and it'll be out this Friday. So yeah, enjoy that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Go
so
check
much.
that out, guys. Like I said, be safe at home, I know, and be kind to everybody. Don't go buying every single toilet paper in the aisle.
It doesn't cause diarrhea, guys, okay?
Exactly.
We're all going to be all right.
Yeah. And yeah, think about that old person who might need their, bread or whatever more. So
don't use the bread on the toilet. Don't use that.
No, definitely not. So yeah, thank you guys. You can catch us at Well Good Movies, also on Instagram and on Facebook. You can also catch us with our parent website, which is Fresh Take Hub, at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And you can catch us at freshtakehub.com/wellgoodmovies. And yeah, please check out our backlog of film episodes where we specialise talking about Star Wars, Star Trek, musicals, Steven Spielberg, loads of fun stuff if you are first to listening to this show, and also any support that can be given to us. So if you follow us on iTunes, subscribe, please rate us, and the biggest thing you can do as well is also leave a review on iTunes. So if you can review us on iTunes, that'd be much appreciated, and anybody who does, we'll make sure to keep an eye on you and try and thank you in any way we can. So thank you guys. Thank you, Dan and Craig. Any last notes from yourself?
Watch out.
Watch out, Hot Fuzz is about.
Making a comeback.
Yeah, thank you, boys. It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so and in our movie vault as well today, remember to go check out Groundhog Day, The Holy Grail, Monty Python, and Hot Fuzz. We'll catch you on the next one, guys, and yeah, have fun and be safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, originally I was we'll fill this time. It was like
with some jazzy music.
I know this is animated. I won't say
You typing in every trailer as you go along?
Yes.